These days, people are looking for all kinds of ways to save money, and one of the ways that you can do that is by decorating your home on a budget. I'm going to share 10 ways that I decorate my home on a very small budget. I don't spend a whole lot of money so that you can save some money as well. Let's go ahead and get started. The first way is by cutting greenery from the outside and bringing it indoors. So I love to just cut off little pieces from bushes or small trees and put them in pitchers or mason jars with water. And it usually lasts for a good 3 or 4 weeks that way. Sometimes I'll have to change out the water, but the greenery stays green for a good amount of time. Whereas if I had bought flowers from the grocery store, they don't last as long. And so this is just an easy way, it's totally free, to bring some freshness and some life to your home as your decor. Another free option is free printables. So in my kitchen, I had wanted to do something that was like a botanical, kind of just with plants. I wanted green and blue in my kitchen. And so I was looking for a printable, and all I did was I went to Pinterest and I searched those exact terms and free printable so that I could find what I wanted. And of course, Pinterest just leads you to a blog, and that blogger graciously was giving away free printables. But there are so many of those online that you can get for free. Maybe you might have to sign up for an email, but there's a lot of different options out there, especially if you're willing to kind of search and look through a lot of the results that come up. But you can also purchase these kinds of things on Etsy for not very much. I mean, you could get one for $5 or less and make a big impact in your space. The next budget-friendly decor item that I have is really a lot of things, and that is just using hand-me-downs. So that kind of sounds, I don't know, kind of has a negative sense to it, but things that used to belong to my parents or to my grandparents, and I use them as decor in my home. So I have a Chinese checkerboard that came from my grandpa's home. It was actually one that they used to play with, and I love having it just displayed on my wall as decor. I have several baskets on my wall that came from my parents' house, and just different things that remind me of my family members that gave them to me, or that belong to those family members in the past, and I inherited them. And so it acts as decor, but it also just is a reminder of the people that I love. The next way to decorate on a budget is to find an alternative. So there are so many wonderful ideas out there that may cost a lot of money, but maybe you can find an alternative. So in my home specifically, a few things that I've done is in my kitchen, instead of painting my cabinets, I decided to use Bry Wax, which acts as a stain and a coating, so a protective coat. So I didn't have to buy any sandpaper because you don't have to sand. I didn't have to buy the paint, and I didn't have to buy special painting supplies. I didn't have to buy the clear coat. So I saved money because all I had to do was buy 1 can of Bry Wax and update my kitchen cabinets instead of spending extra money painting them. And it also saved me a lot of time. Another way is in my kitchen, this isn't for everybody, I understand that, but I decided to, instead of putting in a stone backsplash or tile backsplash, I just used a Sharpie marker and drew in what looked kind of like subway tiles. So I know, like I said, I know that's not for everyone. But another thing that I had considered was stenciling in there. I've seen a lot of people do that. You can look it up on Pinterest or some blogs you might see where they have stenciled a backsplash, and it looks so pretty, but it doesn't cost a whole lot of money. Another way to decorate on a budget is by shopping secondhand. So a lot of times we just think about thrift stores. I have gotten a few things from thrift stores that I love. I got my candlestick holders that I have in my dining room from a thrift store. I got my basket that I put over my blanket ladder from a thrift store. So I do get some things from there, but thrift stores kind of overwhelm me. There's just so much. So you can also do secondhand by going to garage sales. I like going to garage sales. It's kind of like a treasure at each one. You never know what you're gonna find, but it's not quite as overwhelming. Another way is to look on Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace. There are a lot of options on there, and sometimes they're even free if you can find someone that is just willing to get it out of their house. They just want to get rid of it. They might give it away for free. But you can definitely find some cheaper options that way than just going to the store and buying something brand new. The next way to decorate on a budget is by doing it yourself. So the shelves in my living room, I actually made myself. I just found some scrap wood that I had laying around in our garage and in our basement. And I thought, hey, I wonder if I could put these together to make a shelf. I could, and that's what I did. And then I just bought the brackets. So that brought the cost way down because I was considering purchasing some bigger shelves to put in here, but just doing it myself saved me a lot of money. Next is paint. So obviously paint can transform the look of a room. When we first purchased our home, it was all brown. So I have been in the process of updating it by painting it kind of this grayish white color, which I feel like just brightens up the space and makes it look like a totally different space than when it was the brown everywhere. So I've also painted smaller things, like the basket in my dining room used to be a Christmas basket, but I just spray painted it black and now I can use it all the time. I love having the greenery in it and it just looks so much better. I've also, when we moved into our home, I kept the same curtain rods, but I just sprayed them black and it gave them a whole nother look as well. The next tip is be willing to wait. So there have been so many times where I've thought, okay, I really want to put something here, I'm not sure what to do, and I could have just gone out and purchased something at Hobby Lobby or Kirkland's or Target, but I've waited and I've found something better than just something that just came off of the shelf. For example, in my living room, above my pictures, I wanted something above them, but I didn't know what I wanted exactly. And, you know, there were some things I almost settled on and probably would have spent probably between $20 and $40. But instead, my dad gave me this when he was moving. He had this in his basement. He hadn't used it. And I said, hey, I know where I can put that. I can put that above my pictures. That's kind of basically what I was looking for. So I took it and I just cleaned it up and hung it above my pictures, and it was totally free. Number 9 is declutter and tidy up your space. So a messy room, no matter how beautifully it is decorated, the mess is going to detract from the pretty decor. So if you can just simply clean up, tidy things up, and put things away that don't belong in there, dust, clean off fingerprints as much as you possible. I know I probably have fingerprints on that back window right now, but I try to make sure that I clean those at least once a week and get those taken care of. But just having the mess and dirtiness cleaned up can freshen up a space incredibly, and it's totally free. It just costs you your time and your energy, but it's absolutely worth making sure that your home is orderly and neat and tidy. And then my last tip, which is totally free as well, is to rearrange your space. So if you've been following my channel for any length of time, you know that I love to rearrange my furniture. And it just gives a whole new look to a space, and maybe it can function better, but it also will probably look better. It might open up the space if you rearrange a little bit. So be willing to move things around and see if that works for a space better before you head to the store and spend money on things that you may not necessarily need. Because I think we've all been there where we've purchased items at the store because they were on sale or because we thought it was cute, but we didn't necessarily know where we wanted to put it in our homes. And so then it ends up just being put in a closet and not used, and that was money that you could have just saved if you had done one of these other options. All right, so I know that this is not an exhaustive list. I would love to hear how you have decorated your home on a budget as well. Leave that in the comments so that everyone else can find out about your great ideas as well. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.